Hello and welcome to the first episode of this series in which I'm trying to go to win every stage of the Tour de France 2022 with the rider who won it in real life in PCM 2022. And we're going to dive right into it with the first stage, a 13.2 kilometer time trial in Copenhagen. Now, when there's a time trial in the Tour de France, the favorites you're going to be thinking of are, of course, Wout van Aert, Filippo Ganna, Stefan Bissingen, Stefan Küng, or maybe the Slovenian guys, Primož Roglič or Tadej Pogačar. But this stage was won by Yves Lampaert. So this is gonna be already quite difficult. But nonetheless, I still started my first attempt with all the good hope in the world, trying to beat the first time that was already set by Wout van Aert, which was going to be a good point to look at if this challenge was going to be any way possible. But at the first time check I was already 9 seconds down on Wout van Aert, and the problem with time trials is it's just pure power. You can't make it up with a good strategy or anything, so this was really going to be a difficult challenge. That wasn't, however, going to put my spirits down, so I tried it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and a couple more times. But I just kept on trying, and there was one particular try where I noticed Van Aert only had a 5-second advantage on Brendan McNulty, which was a lot more on the previous attempts. So I thought this might be my chance, and sure enough, at the intermediate time check, I managed to set the fastest time. It was unbelievable. I thought this is gonna be the moment I'm going to go to beat Wout van Aert at this attempt. It's amazing. It was unbelievable. I had actually managed to set the fastest time. This was super exciting. Maybe the challenge was possible. So all we needed to do was wait until the really big guns like Ganna, like Küng, like Bissingen, like Pogačar, like Roglič. And just like that, my dream was shattered. I was heartbroken. But I thought it was possible. I was going to try again. With some really good hope, I started my next attempt. It didn't work out. But I kept on trying. But it just wouldn't happen. Even though I kept on trying, it wouldn't work. And so, after my 52nd attempt also failed, I am unfortunately going to have to declare this challenge impossible. Or at least stage 1 is, because we are immediately going to move on to stage 2. A 202 kilometer flat stage from Roskilde to Nieburg, I think I pronounce it, where Fabio Jakobsen beat Wout van Aert and Mats Pedersen. And if we take a quick look at Jakobsen's sprint stat, I think this one is going to be possible. And we're going straight into that first attempt. And my tactic was quite simple. Just protect Jakobsen until we came to the last 30 Ks. Put Andrea Bargioli on the front to make sure the breakaway didn't stay away, and just wait until the sprint came. And with around 30 Ks to go, I established my sprint train. The reason I did this so early, there were 2 reasons for that. One, I wanted to be at the front in time, so I wasn't, coming from the back. And 2 is this little blue bit right here. That means it's a zone with a lot of wind. And when there's wind in cycling, it can create absolute freaking chaos. And create absolute freaking chaos, we did. I put Honoré on the front, after Bargioli, I put Cattaneo on the front and Lampaert on the front, and we tore the peloton absolutely apart. I mean, just look at how little is left of this group after we've crossed this enormous bridge. It's quite insane, actually. But it was time for the sprint, and my team had absolutely dominated over the whole bridge. We were in front, no problems. But then these two little trains for Alpecin de Koning came and Philipsen switched sides, went to the wheel of Mathieu van der Poel, which is a great wheel to be on. We got a little bit swamped. Morkov tried to launch his sprint, to launch Jakobsen. Jakobsen wasn't greatly on his wheel and Philipsen was gone already. And it was going to be really difficult to get back to him. Ewan was gone, no, Philipsen was gone, and it wasn't going to be this time. Jasper Philipsen won ahead of Caleb Ewan and Fabio Jakobsen, which means attempt 1 unfortunately failed. And the second attempt was more of the same. There was a two-man breakaway up the road with Pierre-Luc Perrichon of Cofidis and Cyril Lemoine of B&B Hotels. But they were not too much of a threat, especially because I put Andrea Baggioli again up the front, trying to, not make the gap too big. Make sure there's a sprint at the end of the race. Just making sure we have another chance to win the stage with Fabio Jakobsen. And as you can see right here, by the time we set up the sprint train and we got to the bridge again, the peloton got tore apart once again. Michael Fröhlich-Honoré, really, the peloton just exploded. It's insane how much a little wind can do to a peloton of 170 professional cyclists. It's really quite extraordinary. But as soon as Florian Sénéchal came to the front, only 63 people were left in the peloton. This is what it looked like. It's insane. It really is. But we're going to go to the sprint. We had once again dominated the entire bridge, and this time there was no little Alpecin de Koning train to ruin our day. We were going to the front and we were going to have an absolute amazing chance to win this stage. Here came Mathieu van der Poel with Jasper Philipsen in his wheel, but this time Jakobsen was alongside him when they started their sprint. Can Jakobsen beat Philipsen? Can he do it? Oh, it's going to be so incredibly close. Can he beat them? It's going to be centimeters, but yes, he does it. Jakobsen wins ahead of Groenewegen and Hofstetter. For the first time this tour, we have managed to win a stage with the correct rider. Yeah! And so I can declare the second stage of the 2022 Tour de France definitely possible. But we have absolutely no time to spare, and I'm going to move on immediately to the third stage, a 182 km flat stage from Weje to Sunderborg, which Dylan Groenewegen won ahead of Wout van Aert and Jasper Philipsen. And we're going to go right into the last 20 k's of this stage with our magnificent sprint train. It does look quite good, doesn't it? It's already at the front of the peloton and ready to roar. This time, unfortunately, no zone with a lot of wind to take advantage of, but we're going to still try to win with Dylan Groenewegen this time. And as we go into the last 5 k's of the stage, our sprint train has a lot of issues. Mesgetch is trying to get to the front. He manages to do so, but he's losing his teammates in the process. Jack Bauer has lost his wheel and Michael Matthews is behind Dylan Groenewegen. This is going so bad right now. And the other sprint teams are already starting their leadouts while Matthews is nowhere to be seen yet. We're so far behind. How is this ever going to work out? Into the final corner with a little bit more than a kilometer to go. We're nowhere near the front and Jasper Philipsen is all the way over there. This is such a failed attempt. Oh my goodness, this went so wrong. How did we manage to F this one up so badly? We finished in 10th. This is one of the worst attempts I've ever seen. How could this possibly happen? We're going to have to do a lot better next time, that's for sure. And we're gonna dive straight into the last 5 kilometers of our second attempt. We are again kind of swamped, but can Mesgetch get us out of there? He kind of can. The road opens up for him. Can Jack Bauer keep us at the front? He's gonna go and try everything he can, and he is kind of able to keep us at the front. There are some lead-up men on the right, but they are not too dangerous. Now the real lead-up begins with Michael Matthews, and this is looking very good indeed. Can Dylan Groenewegen finish it off? Can he finish it off? Oh, this is such a dominant win for Dylan Groenewegen. Yeah, we've won it ahead of Danny van Poppel and Mathieu van der Poel with a Dutch 1-2-3. Philipsen nowhere to be found. We have actually gone and done it on our second attempt once again. And therefore I'm able to conclude that the third stage of the 2022 Tour de France is very much possible. And we're going to move right on to the fourth and final stage of this episode, for a flat stage, 171.5 kilometers from Dunkirk to Calais, as we finally get to the French territories, which was won by Wout van Aert with a very dominant and heroic attack onto that final climb and a 10 kilometer solo in the yellow jersey. It was one of the best rides in cycling history. So we're going to try to replicate it. And as we start our first attempt in this fourth stage, I want to point something out to you, and it is this. Another zone of wind. And I am going to try to use that to my advantage, tear the peloton apart once again, just like on stage 2, as I think it's the only way to make it possible to attack on that final climb with Van Aert and stay away for the final 10 kilometers. That's our plan. Let's see if we can make it work. But before we get to that zone of wind, I am already at the front with my train, with Primož Roglič at the front, over this lump, over this little hill, trying to make the other teams, the other sprinters, the other fast guys suffer, trying to already make sure they're not going to be able to follow me when I attack with Wout van Aert. And as you can see, it's working quite well. And as soon as we hit that zone of wind, I got to the front and started to unleash hell. At first here with Tish Benoot, our very trusty Tish. And later with Nathan van Hooijdonk, and the peloton was suffering. As you can see right here, the damage we were able to do with our little 3-man train, it's really astonishing how much you can tear apart a big group like this with just a little bit of wind. Just like on stage 2, it shows how amazing the echelons, as they're called, can be to watch. And I'm sure for the spectators it was an amazing feat to watch. And we're moving right on into the last 20 k's with Christophe Laporte on this little hill here, trying to really eke out those opponents of mine, really make them tired, really make sure they're not going to be able to follow Van Aert onto the hill when he attacks. Now into the downhill, and we're going to be ready to attack with Wout van Aert. Are we going to be able to do it? Ewan and Sagan are both on our wheel. It's going to be quite difficult to drop them, I'm afraid. They are still on our wheel, but as you can see here, as we crest the climb, Wout van Aert creates the gap, and he is all on his own. Can he actually make it? Can he actually make it work? It's going to be really difficult. As you can see, Kasper Asgreen is right behind us, pacing for Fabio Jakobsen, trying to close the gap to Van Aert to make sure Jakobsen can sprint for the win. And I thought to myself right here, it's not going to be happening. I need to stop and aim for my sprint. But then Asgreen stopped pacing. He was all done. And Van Aert kept riding away and extending his gap, and it was going really great. Van Aert was really making the difference here. And as we went into the final 5k, it's already more than 30 seconds on the peloton, and Asgreen was trying all he could, but he couldn't get on the top of the peloton and really pace for Jakobsen. And Van Aert just kept riding away. It was amazing. Van Aert was going to win. I was going to do it. It was the best moment, best feeling in my life. Van Aert was going to win. But then Mathieu van der Poel started his lead out for Jasper Philipsen. And he was coming in really, really fast. And they were going to the final. And Philipsen was going to win. He was going, no, they blow up. Can Van der Poel beat Van Aert? Can he do it? Can Van Aert stay away from Van der Poel? Is Van der Poel going to overtake him? It's going to be really close. But Van Aert does it. We've actually gone and done it and won this stage on our first try with an attack on that final climb. It's absolutely amazing. I really didn't expect it was going to happen, but we made it in front of the sprinting peloton, in front of Van der Poel and Philipsen. We've done it on our first try. Let's go. And so I can be very happy and very excited to declare this stage as very, very much possible. And as we take a look at the statistics of this video, as you can see, the first stage, unfortunately, I really tried my best, but it just was not possible with Yves Lampaert. The second stage with Fabio Jakobsen, first attempt, unfortunately, just didn't make it. The second attempt, it was a tiny difference, but we won. The third stage, second attempt also, and the second attempt with Groenewegen was a really, really dominant win in that fourth stage. I'm really, really proud of that result. I didn't think we were able to do it, but we did it. It's amazing. So, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next. Goodbye.